Welcome to Inside the Yankees. I'm Nancy Newman. Today we will take you inside Yankee Stadium as we spend a day with the clubhouse assistants to see how they get locker room ready. Plus, we will check in with the Yankee chefs as they prepare the players' game day meals. Success is a team effort, and it all starts with the people behind the scenes.
There are so many people actively involved behind the scenes in both clubhouses to make sure that the players' needs are met on a daily basis. A lot of what the staff does is to make sure that it simplifies the life of the player. They come in, their stuff's laid out, their schedules laid out in front of them, the things that they need to do, whether it's when they're going to hit in the cage or what training modalities that they're going to use, when they're going to eat, where they're going to eat, what they're going to eat. All those different things are done and made by an incredible staff that manages that on a day in, day out basis throughout the entire season. They're hard at work getting that stuff done. The clubhouse is its own city. They operate tremendously. The Cocuzas, now their father, Lou Sr., he was the guy. He started it all, an incredible man, and his sons now run the operation down there, and they've been doing it forever.
We want to take away any distraction. Once the players walk into the clubhouse, we want to eliminate all distractions so they can concentrate on the game itself. So whatever they need, if it's field passes, if it's store errands, we're there. If they need something for their family, we're there. If they got a flat tire, we got it covered. So we want to eliminate every distraction possible so they can concentrate on the game.
We have 2 active chefs that cook all our meals for our players. We have 1 dedicated food room person that helps bus the tables, helps serve the food to the players, stocks our refrigerators, our snacks and everything. We have 1 person dedicated to full service laundry, as well as an additional staff of another 3 clubhouse attendants that take care of pretty much all day-to-day activities for the players.
Most people that come into the clubhouse will always come through the door that's right behind me. And so the jerseys are always facing the front of the room for when the players come in and for when the media or anybody else comes into the clubhouse. Those jerseys are always facing this way. Joseph Lee, clubhouse assistant. Everything happens the same way every day, right? Like batting practice is going to be the same time. The uniforms are going into the laundry, coming out of the laundry, almost at the very, very repetitive on the same schedule. The only thing that changes day to day, right, is sometimes the player gets sent down. Sometimes we sign a new player. Sometimes there's a rain delay. We're drying the jerseys that got caught out in the rain, or all of a sudden a player needed something picked up that's far from here. So it's like, oh, get in the car, leave the stadium for a little bit for an hour, go pick that up, bring it back. Sometimes at the end of the day, say, my God, this was a crazy day. Like, I didn't expect to go here. I didn't expect to go to Manhattan and Westchester twice or whatever. And then other days you're just in the clubhouse the whole day and it's just a routine day. When they return off the road, they're going to come here tomorrow and their bag has been unpacked and set up and it looks like they never left.
Judge has 2 bags and Stanton has 2 bags. I think it's because their shoes are so big.
So basically when everything comes down and off the truck, we sort it by player and every player's bag goes to their chair and then we start unpacking it. And basically every guy we kind of set the locker up the same way. We open up the cap caddies, which has their road hats in them, and we kind of open them up just to aerate them out so that they don't get nice and stinky. And then we start unpacking piece by piece and putting it neatly back in their lockers. And we go on to the next bag until all the bags are done. And there's usually 4 of us out here doing the main floor bags, and then someone's in the back now doing the rest of the staff and the coaches and the trainers and stuff like that. Then all the jerseys will come here and we'll hang them here because after this they'll be resorted and put on a rolling rack and make sure that everybody's jerseys have returned. And then Richie separates the pants and the jerseys and inventories them and then puts them away and has them ready to go for the next road trip. And so then the day of, usually the night before or the morning of the next road game, Richie will bring out all these uniforms and we'll have them in the middle of the main floor, and then we'll resort them, put them on everybody's chair, make sure everybody's got multiple pairs of pants, multiple road jerseys, and then we put them in the bags and start the packing process for the road trip. Starting pitchers tend to use multiple jerseys when they're pitching throughout the game. Some guys, just sweat more than others, so they'll use, 3 to 4 jerseys in a game. And sometimes they'll even say, oh, I like this jersey, could you just throw it in the dryer real quick in between innings? And then we'll give it back to them. And, but for the most part, they have a couple of pairs. They have 2 home pants, 2 road pants, and then sometimes they tear and we have to replace them. If they have a hole, some guys like them patched up, so we'll send them out to be patched up. But for the most part, they'll just be replaced if they tear. These guys are in here from sometimes noon on a night game until almost midnight some nights, right? Guys leave after midnight. So each locker is like a little apartment for them, and they kind of live in these lockers. And these lockers actually hold more than they look like. And every piece of laundry that's not only in the bag, but like the laundry that we're gonna do right after this is marked on the inside with their name or number. And we heat seal like every piece of clothing that somebody wants. So, oh, give me a new pair of socks, give me another pair of shorts. Every piece will then we have a binder full of like stickers with their name or number on it that can be either heat sealed onto the clothing or just stuck on like on their hats or whatever like that. So Sean, who does our laundry, he's one of the clubhouse assistants. He's in charge of rounding it up throughout the day. And there's a lot of laundry, right? Because guys first come in, they might work out, they might go for a swim, they might be in the sauna, they went to batting practice, and so there's laundry and towels all day long. The machines in the laundry room are running from noon to midnight.
We'd probably do 10 loads of towels, throughout the day. I mean, it's nonstop. I'm always going in and out of, rooms, making sure there's nothing in the laundry bins, making it look like it's neat and clean. Joe Lee does a lot of the scrubbing after the games with the dirty, the clay, the grass stains, all that kind of stuff. The next morning, we might have some extra uniforms that I have to scrub. The different chemicals that we use, the product, the slide out, the pine tar remover, things like that. So there's a lot that goes into it. Kind of a little chemistry that goes into it, It
came off the truck, it was washed, dried, and now it's here on the main floor to be sorted into 6 different sections. It gets individualized into each locker, turned right side in, hung, and ready for tomorrow's game. And everyone's got a pretty good range of being able to toss stuff from close and afar and almost never missing any of these bins. Like, you'll see guys throwing towels and uniforms from like 25, 30 feet away, and nobody ever almost misses, From the moment the game ends until Sean tells us, hey, that's it for the laundry, we're out of here, is almost the same amount of time every single day. Like, it takes 90 minutes from front to end when the game is over for us to be finished with the post-game work to be set up for the following day. I like coming here because, some of the guys that we've worked with, I know a long, long time. Obviously, Rob and Lou, I've known them since I'm 15 years old. Richie's been in the game since the early 90s, and Edwin's worked here for over a dozen years. So, those guys, they become like family to you. And so I like coming to the ballpark because I still like, even after all this time, I still like seeing the game from the perspective that we're seeing it, as opposed to just turning on your TV and be like, oh, the Yankees are on TV.
Cleveland Indians against the Boston Red Sox. And I run out to home plate to warm up Matt Young, and I was so nervous that I could barely get the ball back to Matt. And Richie Garcia was the home plate umpire. And Richie kind of got behind me and put his arm on my shoulder, and he said, how you doing, kid? And I think I actually said, Mr. Garcia, I am so nervous I can't throw the ball back to the pitcher. And he put his hand on my shoulder and he said, kid, we're gonna get through this together. And like immediately I felt this sense of relief. All of a sudden my wrist loosened up, I was able to throw the ball back. And it actually comes full circle because there was a major league umpire by the name of Jim Reynolds who was working his first game behind home plate. And he came behind the plate and I kind of turned and introduced myself to him and I said, how are you doing? And he said, I'm so nervous, this is my first game behind the plate. And I actually smiled to myself and I said, well, Jim, we'll get through this together. And the only reason I know that story is because Jim Reynolds told it to another Major League umpire, and he told me, I got to tell you the story that Jim Reynolds told me, that you got him through his first Major League game as a home plate umpire. Jim Reynolds worked a World Series game, became a veteran umpire, a very established umpire, and there was a little part of me that said, Richie Garcia got me through my first game, and maybe I got Jim Reynolds through his first game as a Major League umpire.
Welcome back to Inside the Yankees. Let's head back to Yankee Stadium for more on game day preparation. This time, we will shine the spotlight on the Bat Boys.
So this is our second year with the fuel bar. This is a great space because it's very close to our dugout. So guys in-game, pre-game can stop by, make their little pit stop, grab what they need, and then head down to the game. Drew Weisberg, Director of Performance Nutrition for the New York Yankees. Having the shakes available, so especially on hot days, some guys aren't feeling like a big meal before a game, so liquid calories can be huge for guys. So like an hour before a game, a guy can come in and do a shake, which sits a little bit easier for them versus having like sitting down and trying to have a big meal before going out there to play.
Drew comes in clutch with a good smoothie for me. It's got like bananas in there, maybe some blueberries, protein powder, a lot of good stuff just to get me some extra calories, give me some extra fuel.
We sit down roughly once a week and kind of map out the menu for the next coming homestand. By this point, we know what our players like, so it's really just having that good rotation of having that great food throughout the season with great variety, but also like these guys just cook with love every day. So I mean, it goes a huge way for our success here.
That's the way that we work here, like a family with the players. They come in, they in and out, whatever they want, we give it to them. They always come with a smile. Especially when they come to roll all the time, they come to say hi in the kitchen because we work together.
Every homestand we make different kind of menus. We have like 45 menus, different one. We don't try to repeat anything. So we look at the guys like what they like asking each one like what kind of food you like what you like from the spread that we have, like that we can make it a better one every day. So we sit down for like an hour with Drew. And we get ideas, and we make, like a spread to look better. We had 3 rounds, almost every day. We had the lunch, BP before practice, and then we had the post-game. I feel like it's special because when you see everyone over here eating, you feel happy. When you love something, you feel happy. So when sometimes I get here close to the window and I say, oh, how many kids I have? All my sons over here already eating. So that makes you, like special, like proud of what you're doing.
How you doing, bro? You good?
Okay, Alex. How's everything?
Great. Coconut water and apple juice. Those are probably the things that we run out of first. So I'll try to set some aside for some of the guys that, it's part of their routine that they have that every day. Our job is really just to make their lives easier. These are our most popular flavors. So we got pumpkin, Big Easy, kettle roast, and original. Those will probably go through a box a day. We'll probably go through a bucket every 2 or 3 days. Alex Rodriguez, clubhouse attendant and bat boy. I'm living a dream. I'm working with Aaron Judge, Volpe, Grisham, all the guys that I watched growing up. So it's definitely a cool experience to be able to work with them. Whenever my friends or family, ask about the job, I always say it's, make sure that they have everything they need, make their days easier between coaches, players, and umpires including, and the rest of the staff. So it's 81 home games. It's mostly routine every day, but at the same time, it's never always routine. Like sometimes there's extra towels, sometimes the coolers are getting hit one day, more normally than another day. Some days, a pitcher might have an early stretch where there's early hitting. So dealing with cleats and laundry and towels, it's always on the fly. Even though we do the same kind of process every day, it could always change. Day game cleats are the best, because it just turns to dust and it comes right off, nice and easy. Rainy days, those are where the extra elbow grease comes in. We use a hard scrub, a hard brush, and then we go over it with the scrubble bubbles, and then we'll go over it with the soft brush after to make sure it gets out of the rubber and material.
To the bat room.
Here's Giancarlo's probably got the most.
Yeah. He's got a bunch of lawyers.
There you go.
There you go. He's probably candidate number one for breaking bats.
When 2 bats are broken, and I gotta run down here as fast as I can and get into one of these and see what they want. A lot of times we just go for honestly, the dirtiest looking one. That's the one that's used. Let's see. Yeah, this would be a good one. And then run it out where 100,000 people are waiting on me to bring the bat. There are guys that probably break one every 3 or 4 games, especially the big guys, the big strong guys. Like Ben Rice now is breaking a bat like every 2 games, and he's getting hits off of them. Like for them, they would hope it's once every 2 weeks. Guys get out here around 4, set the defense on the field, batting practice 4:30. So we keep the catchers over here, whoever's starting that day. We're going to prime spot here. This is where they usually change in between innings. Got the 2 big guys up here. Usually we'll keep the position guys, Volpe, Jazz down here. Grish likes his there. Switch hitters, we usually try and keep 1 and 2. All we really got is JD right now, Dominguez. Got the sliding mitts. Most of them got one. Run that out to them when they're on base. Usually goes by where they keep their bats too, like Jazz will keep his bats here. Peraza keeps his bats over here. Switch hitters keep them together, make sure they know where it is.
This is Aaron Boone's little care package. A couple years ago, I noticed something. Every day, he comes out with 3 room temp water bottles and 5 pieces of sugar-free gum and a bag of original seeds. So every day he lines it up like that, and I took notice and I said, you know what, let me help out the manager one day. So I did that, and I stood over there in the corner, and he comes up the stairs. He's like confused, like, who did this? Comes up, check it, exactly like he likes it, and then he sees me in the corner, and he knows what's up. So anything you can do to help out the players, coaches, staff, that's really what our job is.
Hello again, everyone. Jack Curry here with another edition of Jack's Packs. As always, I've got some baseball cards spread out in front of me. I'm going to open a pack, and I promise you that within this pack, there will be a story about one of these players that I will share with you, and I hope you'll find it interesting and intriguing. We're going to go to a 2025 pack this year. We're starting off with a really good player in Andrew McCutchen. Edwin Diaz saves games across town from the Yankees. For the Mets, we've got Travis d'Arnaud with the Braves. We've got another one of those cards that is a team card. Oh, wait a second. How about this gem? We've got a Mickey Mantle card in here that says call to the hall on it. I'm pretty excited about that. I think we know where we might be going in this pack. We've got James Wood, and we've got Justin Henry Malloy, a St. Joe's of Montvale product. We're going to Mickey Mantle, and how could you not pick out Mickey Mantle in a Hall of Fame pack like this? And my interaction with Mickey Mantle is, I was covering baseball when he would show up for Old Timers Day. And I remember walking into the Yankee dugout one Old Timers Day, and Mickey Mantle was talking to some of the older writers that he knew very well. And he was laughing, and he was regaling them, and he was telling a ton of stories. And as a reporter, I always want to be involved. I always want to ask questions. But in this moment, it was a good lesson, a good reporting lesson to remember that these reporters knew him a lot better than me, and they were having a really good dialogue. So I was smart enough to wait my turn, and then I finally did ask Mickey Mantle a question, and I was happy about that, because who hasn't heard stories from their father and their grandfather and their mother and their grandmother about Mickey Mantle? But a story that also stuck with me that day is Buck Showalter, who was the Yankee manager at the time, said that Mickey Mantle came into his office because the players typically dressed in the clubhouse with the current Yankee players. Well, as the old-timer, Mickey Mantle came in and said, "Hey, Buck, could I get dressed in your office?" And Buck said, "You have a Hall of Famer like Mickey Mantle asking for permission to get dressed in my office?" He said, use anything you want in the office, take anything you want in the office. Yes, you can use my office as a dressing room, Mr. Mantle. So Mickey Mantle absolutely stood out as someone that if you saw him on Old Timers Day, you were focused in on what he was doing and who he was. I remember talking to teammates of his later in my career where I had the opportunity to hear even more stories about him living in New York City above a deli, a 19-year-old kid just getting acclimated to New York and then having an amazing impact.